Hello and welcome to another video on my YouTube channel. My name is Joris and today I'm here with a video that, it's a bit annoying that the stock markets are going down, but I bring always a message that although the markets are going down, you shouldn't worry. So I already made a video, Don't Panic, in the past. I'm going to put the link in the description down below, so when you are finished with watching this video, you can go and watch that one as well. So I just want to say in this video that it hurts seeing your portfolio coming down, but in the end it's going to be okay. So yeah, the market is going down because of Trump's tariffs, and his calculations make no sense, but it is the way it is. So now everybody's reacting. Are they overreacting? Are they underreacting? Nobody knows. So the fact is that on the chart that Trump depicted, he had to carry it, and it wasn't a really big chart, but he said the wind was the problem. But okay, on that chart it said that Switzerland imposes a 61% tax on US goods, and that's not true at all. In fact, 90%, 95% of the goods that come into Switzerland from the US, they are taxed 0%. The fact is that it's 0.2% on average here in Switzerland that the US goods are taxed, and that's just because tobacco comes in and that one has a tax on it because it's unhealthy to smoke. So a 0.2% tax, if you take half of that, it's 0.1% and not 31% like Trump is issuing now. So the thing is, he just took the trading deficit into the calculations. And for me, that's not the fault of Switzerland. That has to do with how the US companies are doing their businesses. Also, the fact that the Eastern countries like India, uh, Thailand, and stuff have a really high tariff imposed on them right now. It has just to do with the fact that a lot of US companies went on and produced their stuff there and then bring it in from there into the US to sell it because there the working forces are way cheaper. And yeah, in the EU, in the European Union and Switzerland, this is happening as well. So a lot of those companies, of our companies, they are going abroad, producing their stuff there because the workforce, working labor there is way cheaper. Then they import all their produced goods, and we buy them. And in this regard, Trump is right. Companies need to return to produce more of the important stuff in the country itself. So in the case of Trump in the US, but it needs to happen in Europe as well. So it's not a good thing that a lot of antibiotics aren't produced in Europe or in the US, but then he gave an exemption to the pharmacology products. So that's a good thing for Switzerland, of course, because 2/3 of the important goods into the US are to do with pharmaceuticals. So in that regard, it's not a big problem for Switzerland. But then you have, of course, the technology sector with Logitech and also the watch sector with the Swatch, unfortunately, that is suffering a lot from the 31% taxes that are going to be due in a few days. And for me, I think the US is going to suffer the most, at least for the first few years. And that's going to be the case as well for the European companies, because when they import their goods to sell into America, they will have to pay the taxes. And when they pay the taxes, they will absorb a bit themselves, but they will also calculate it through into the prices for the consumers. So they will have to pay more for the same goods. So probably they will go towards stuff that don't cost that much because of extra taxes that were imposed on them. So more towards locally produced goods. And this is what Trump wants. And I don't blame him for that. But yeah, companies are going to earn less. A lot of American companies, they have the problem that they produce outside of the US. They need to import the stuff that they produced outside the US into the US. So those companies are going to suffer even more. And until the production is at an equilibrium again, those tariffs will cause problems. And this can take several years before, yeah, the factories are going to be built inside the US. But when will they be operational? It can take 1, 2, 3 years even before a factory is completely operational. So it's going to take time, and the stock market is going to recover faster from the drop down that happens now. So it's not going to take several years before the stock market is going to go up again. But in the meantime, it's of course annoying that the stock markets are going down. In the US, the stocks are going down more, and the rest of the world is just following. So sometimes they don't need to come down, and you will see a few examples of stocks that aren't coming down, and you just have to accept it. It is the way it is. And the past week, my wife and I, we saw a lot of portfolio value disappear. So in the past 5 days, SDGPX down almost 5%, GLDV almost down 4%, VHYL 5.5% down, FLXD it's down with the current ask bid prices 3%, LDG 4.5% down, XYLF with the current ask bid prices down 6.80%. So down the most because yeah, the US stock market is going down the most. And then the exception, the emerging market ETF, that one is going up a little bit. So in that regard, I'm happy that I started investing into EMHD. So no complaints there. But does it matter that all those ETFs went down? No. So I don't like seeing it, but it has happened before in with the COVID pandemic, for example. Then SDGPX was down to 20.5 euros. So where it is now with 38, 37 euros, it almost lost 45% compared to the prices that we see now. So I know it will happen again and it can go down even further. And for me, why doesn't it matter? Well, so far, our dividends have not changed. And you know, I'm a dividend investor. I like seeing dividends come in. And so far, I don't see dividends changing in our portfolio. So I'm not worried at all. And the other thing is, I'm not planning on selling anything. And as long as you don't sell, you have no actual loss. And I know dividends can come down, especially because companies will most likely soak up some, it's a typing mistake, sorry for that, some of the costs associated with the tariffs that Trump has imposed. And this can weigh on their results. And if they want to maintain the payout ratio, this means that dividends will come down sometimes. And that's why I always look at companies with a good payout ratio below 60%. That's what I like to see. Even what I even like more is a payout ratio between 30-40% or even lower. so that there is a buffer for when things like this happen, and that you don't need to fear for a lower payout of dividends. So which stocks of the U portfolio are affected the most? Logitech, look at this one. Unbelievable, but after the tariffs were imposed the next day, the stock really imploded. It went down like a brick. And on those times, it's really annoying that I only have 200 Swiss francs every month available to me, and I write it over on the 25th of the month, or yeah, on the day that the wages are paid here in Switzerland, and I invest it on that time in the stock that I think is the best value at that time. And now I know it's going to be Logitech, but I don't have the money. So I'm hoping that it stays around this price level for the rest of the month. Another 20 days to go, and then I will be able to invest in Logitech. But yeah, it's the way it is. You can't do anything about it. And then you have Swatch. So that one as well. It was already trading down because yeah, it's not performing well, of course, the Swatch Group, and they also lowered their dividends, so that all weighs on the sentiment of the stock. And then you have the Hayek family that a lot of people think that they aren't doing the right thing. I'm, on the other hand, I'm not of that opinion. I like what the Hayek family is doing, and then it's really annoying to see that with the tariffs, yeah, that has a huge impact, of course, because after the troubles in China, America is also a really big market for Swatch, and now you have 31% taxes that are going to be imposed on all the watches that are being imported into the US. So yeah, that is going to increase the prices, and how are the consumers going to react to that? That's uncertainty. Uncertainty weighs on the prices of the stocks, so it's going down. Today, minus 3.65 Swiss francs, minus 2.64%, and in the past 5 days, it is down 14.03%. And we also have ENG down 10.33%, BASF down 10.31%, DHYL down more than 9%, Volkswagen being down more than 8.5%, and Holcim losing 8%. So not great numbers at all, but we have also some stocks that are still doing okay. So you have Nestle, and that one is actually up 0.82% in the past 5 days. So that one is actually trading up since the announcement of the tariffs. And then you have BKW, because that's local producing. It has nothing to do with America, BKW. And a lot of people that are selling other stocks, they flee to BKW because that's a safe European Swiss company. And this one is actually going up, and in the past 5 days it is up 6.34%. So that's a comfort for me. I bought BKW for a second time a few days ago when I received my wage, and I could put in 200 Swiss francs towards the U portfolio. I decided to buy BKW, and it immediately pays off. So sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. And AXA, yeah, it's an insurance company, so that's more. It isn't trading with goods, so it's just services that it provides. So in that regard, it's less likely to be affected by the tariffs. And AB InBev, yeah, they produce all their beers more or less locally, so it's a low percentage that they actually transport around the globe. So they are actually also affected, not that hugely. Just like Nestle, only 3% of the stuff that they sell in the US, they import. 97% of the stuff that they sell in the US, Nestle, they produce locally in the US. So that's why you don't see a huge effect on those stocks. And this is just a video to let you remember that there is nothing you can do except stay consistent and follow your plan. Because it already happened. It is out of our control. It is something that Trump decides. That's in America. We are here in Europe, so we can't do anything about it. And if you worry about everything that you can't control, you become crazy. So you shouldn't worry about things you can't control. It's in the past. Now we have to move forward. And the only thing you need is to focus on what you are going to buy next. So now I'm hoping that Logitech stays down, and then that will be the second stock that I'm going to buy more of, just like BKW. And yeah, I'm just waiting till the day that I have fresh money to invest. And it is sad that now that the market is down, so I wish I had 200 Swiss francs right now to put towards the U portfolio and already buy 3 shares of Logitech, but I can't. So it is the way it is. And it can be that tomorrow the market is down even more. And it can be that when when I'm able to put in the extra 200 Swiss francs at the end of the month, that the market has already recovered. And then I have missed an opportunity, but on the other hand, my portfolio is up again. So it is always yeah, something you have to deal with when you are short in cash, and you always have to work to earn money, and then when you have earned the money, you can invest a little bit of it. So it is something you have to be able to live with. And as long as you buy the best thing on the moment that you can buy it, you will do fine in the long run. And that's why I also might make this video. Of course, it's also a video for myself and later for my kids as well. When they watch this video, they will be reminded, just focus on the here and now and do what you can do. Stay consistent. That's the best thing, because the goal is the long term with nice dividends, nice returns. And what is happening now, that is just the short term. And the losses that you see, all the red numbers, that are just paper losses, not actually realized losses. So don't worry, be happy. And with that being said, thank you for watching this one, and see you on the next one on my YouTube channel. Bye.